Hey there! In this video I'm going to be showing you how to attach the legs and the tail as the body is being made. So for the legs, in each round you will attach one stitch on the top of the leg with the round. In the third round you will also add 2 stitches along the top edge. For the tail, you'll start adding 2 stitches in the first round, and then you'll add 2 stitches on the sides in the second round, and then in the last round you'll add just 1 stitch on the top. So the first thing to do is determine which way you want your tail to bend. So with this tail, I want it to bend away from the body. So I need to identify 2 stitches on the bottom that will allow it to bend away from the body. So if that's on the bottom, the tail will bend away. On this tail, if you want it to bend to the cat's left, we will find the stitches on the bottom here that will allow it to bend that way. And those are the first 2 stitches we'll add in the first round of adding. Now if you want it to turn the other way, you'll add different stitches. Alright. Now we need to identify which is the left leg and which is the right leg. So these loops that are showing on the top round of the leg will be touching the body. So we want those to be inside. So this is your left leg and this is your right leg. Alright, so I'm going to be using this bright yellow and attaching the ocean colored limbs so you can see the contrast. I worked through round 3 and then the increase in the single crochet on round 4, and I'm ready to start adding my legs. So as we just discussed, we are going to, so I've worked through round 3 and the increase in single crochet from round 4, and I'm ready to add my legs. We're starting with the left leg as the cat's going to be facing away from us on the stitch marker. So we line up the next stitch on the leg, on the next stitch on the body with that heel side stitch on the leg, and we'll work through both of those. Single crochet. Now the instructions say to single crochet in the same stitch, which means only on the body, so we're making an increase. And that will be an increase, and we'll continue around till we add the next leg. Okay, here we are ready to add the right leg. So we'll line up this heel side stitch with the next stitch on the body and work through both of those stitches together. Now this part may come loose, and that's okay. We're just gonna pull that tight and secure it inside the body when we're done. So complete that stitch, and then our next stitch is in the same stitch, again making an increase. So we're just going to move our leg to the side and work into that same stitch to make an increase. And you can, if that's loose, just pull it snug. When we're done adding the legs, we'll knot it and weave it in. So that's the right leg, and then we are going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, And now we're ready to add our leg, or tail, sorry. Okay, so now we're ready to add the tail, and I'm going to line up the 2 stitches that I'm going to use on the underside of the tail. It's hard to get this in while holding it. So I'm going to use this stitch, will be worked in that same stitch as the last single crochet to make an increase, and then this next stitch will be worked in the last stitch of the round. So let's go ahead and do that. Insert it in my tail first, and then go in that same stitch on the body. Complete that stitch, and then we'll go in this next stitch in the last stitch of the round. So that is the first round of adding the limbs. It's actually round 4. Now let's move on to round 5. Okay, so I've done the first few stitches of round 5, and I'm ready to add the next stitch on the left leg. So we can see here, the next stitch I'm going to work in is right here, and then we're going to add the middle one. They don't line up if I have it sitting like this, so I'm going to twist it until I can get in both of them at the same time. So in the leg, twist. Make sure we're not skipping a stitch here, because it's really easy to skip a stitch. I'm going to undo that. Okay, so I've done the first few stitches of round 5, and we're ready to add the middle stitch of the left leg into the next stitch. You can see they don't line up when the leg is sitting like this. So what we're going to do is twist the leg until we can get our hook into both stitches at the same time. This can be a bit tricky. So if you can't get it twisted just right and you're afraid of missing stitches, you can just pull up a loop like that. Pull it kind of loose so it doesn't pull through. And then insert into your leg and pull that loop through your leg. And then pick back up your stitch, tighten it down, and then complete that stitch. You do want to make sure that it's good and tight. Keep your tension consistent. So that's the center stitch on the left leg, and let's work around to the right leg. Okay, so now we're back around to the right leg, and again we will be adding the middle stitch on the leg into the next stitch on the body. Trying not to skip a stitch or add a stitch. There we go. Now we single crochet 3 before adding the tail again. Now when adding this stitch of the tail, we have 3 stitches on the tail that are unworked. That's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to add this stitch and this stitch in this round. So we're going to insert a hook from the outside this time. into the next stitch on the body. Complete that stitch. And then we're going to single crochet, skip. We're going to skip one, and then we're going to go in the next one and add that to the body. And that is round 5, the second round of adding the limbs. Okay, now we're on round 6. We're ready to add the last stitch on the leg. And then we will also work into 2 places along the top ridge. So we add the last stitch on the leg. Again, we're going to twist and make sure we get it in that next stitch so we don't skip any. Oops. I don't usually have an issue with this not on camera, but crocheting on camera is different. So I'm going to pull that in tight. Make sure our stitches don't get too loose from stretching and reaching. So that's that last stitch on the edge there. Now we are going to work into the next 2 stitches. Again, be careful on this left side not to skip any stitches. So we're going to go here and here. We'll go through this stitch and that stitch. And that's the left leg. Now we'll work around to the right leg. Make sure you're not skipping or adding stitches. Okay, now we're back around to the right leg. And for this leg, we are going to add the stitches along the top edge first before that last stitch. So kind of wiggle it to line those stitches up because we want this last stitch on the very top to go in this stitch. So we need to kind of twist it to make sure they line up properly. So I'll use this round to go in here and this round to go in that stitch. Okay, there's the right leg. Now we can move on to add the tail. So for the tail, we're going to add this last stitch that we skipped in the last stitch of the round. Okay, so that is adding the hind legs and the tail. Now to finish, you can knot and hide these ends You can use them to sew the legs in a little bit more forward if you like. That's how you add the legs.